Hi, and welcome to a new video. This video is not a review. This video is sort of my thoughts on a topic that I thought about quite a bit this summer when I was on holiday and I had actually misplaced one of my watches and I thought I had lost it or it got stolen. It sort of kicked up my thoughts about what I would do if my watch actually would get stolen and if there was anything I could do. So these are some ideas that I had in my head and maybe they serve as an inspiration to you. It's not really a guarantee to get your watch back, but at least these are some things that I personally would wish I would have done if the watch gets stolen, especially if it is a rather expensive piece or a rather special piece. So this might not apply for all watches, but you're welcome to pick inspiration from this video and do with it whatever you want to do. I've collected 5 things that I would do when my watch gets stolen to maybe eventually get it back or to increase my chances to be able to get it back. And there are also some things that you can do before anything happens to be a little bit more on the safe side and be prepared if the worst case ever happens. It's a rather tough topic, and if you found the video, I hope you're not in a situation that a watch from you got stolen and you're not now trying to figure out what you can do. But yeah, these are my thoughts, and let's start. Well, if your watch gets stolen, my suggestion would be to file a police report in whatever location you are or in whatever location that actually happened. If you're abroad, I would do it there and try to give them all the information and insist that they do have a filed police report that you can refer to if you are in contact with your insurance or if the watch ever gets found, so that you have something tangible that you have in your hand as proof that at that time the watch was stolen from you. This might not directly give the watch back to you, but I think it is the first official thing that I can do, and therefore I actually would try to do that, and maybe they have tips or maybe they have some recommendations. It's the point number 1 because I would not expect too much of it, but it's good to have some paperwork or some documentation of what happened. The second thing, that if it is a watch that belongs to one of the big manufacturers that has quite a little bit of value, I would try to tell the manufacturer in some way or another, especially about the serial number. If we're talking about Omega and Rolex or something like that, you can go to an authorized dealer, preferably the dealer that you bought it from, and ask if they can contact the manufacturer for you if you can't do it directly yourself. The reason is many manufacturers on the open level don't really care about stolen watches. They don't really want to be associated with it, and they also don't want to take responsibility of collecting information if a watch of theirs gets stolen, because in reality it's really your watch and you have to take care of it. But nevertheless, I'm very sure that if a manufacturer gets a watch for service, they will check the serial number and it will be in their system. And if it is in any way connected to your name, this increases the chances that you might get a watch back. And this actually might not even be a good solution for big companies like Rolex or Omega, but it might even be a better idea for smaller companies who take their products much more seriously and their customer relations a lot more seriously. And the more special in that sense your watch is, I would say, the better are your chances that this leads in some way to maybe your watch getting back to you. As I said, I would not put really much hope into all of these things, but well, having your chances at 1% is certainly a lot better than having your chances at 0%. The third reason, therefore, also is to tell the dealer that you bought the watch from that your watch got stolen. I wouldn't do it for sympathy reasons, so that you might get, basically your Submariner faster again if you want to, but especially if it is an authorized dealer that you bought the watch from, they might have a little bit more insight into how the companies operate in terms of dealing with stolen watches, and maybe has some more info for you or a network that they can rely on, and they might also tell other dealers. So I don't think it is a bad idea to tell them. Obviously, I wouldn't do it in any way to expect anything from them, but having them in the loop is certainly a good idea, especially if they are your trusted source for watches anyway. Then you probably have a personal connection to them anyway, and therefore letting them know about what happened to you and your watch is probably a fair thing. And the fourth thing has also to do with dealers, especially if it is a watch that is in high demand on the secondary market. And I would phone up and email big gray market dealers and dealers of secondhand watches to tell them that the watch got stolen, to tell them what kind of watch it was, and preferably the serial number. In all of these cases, I would make sure that this serial number is noted somewhere in the police report, in the email to the manufacturer. If you tell your dealer, he also probably has the number down or can note the serial number somewhere. And why I think it's important to tell these big secondary dealers is they do not want to get involved with stolen watches. It's the worst thing to their business. They trade a lot in between each other, and nobody wants to be involved with stolen watches, not only just because of their reputation, but not only for their reputation, since how would you do business in between tradesmen if you can't trust them? So the damage of a fake or stolen watch ends up somewhere, and they don't want to be involved in it. And they also might have private networks in between dealers where they circulate and archive serial numbers of stolen watches so that they don't get involved with it. And I would just shoot them an email and say, look, this watch was stolen from me. It has that and that serial number. It might have this and that scratch, or the bracelet has so many links and whatever. And the more information you can give them, the more your watch might end up in a loop where it is not necessarily proactively looked for, but it might come up at any point if it tries to come back into a market. Well, as I said, I wouldn't expect anything big from this, but certainly having your chances at 1% is a lot better than having your chances at 0%. Point number 5, what you can do is to set up an eBay or Craigslist search to maybe not only find the watch yourself, but also to let potential buyers know. On some platforms, you can basically set up an offer and not offer the watch for sale, but say, I'm looking for this watch. This watch has been stolen. You can identify the watch by this, this, and this, and therefore you might take more people into the loop. And if people on eBay are looking for Submariners and they come across your offer, which is not really an offer, saying that the watch is stolen, they will be more careful in return and not necessarily look out for you, but look out for themselves. I used eBay as an example. This doesn't really work with eBay, obviously, but for example, here we have a platform where you can precisely do things like that. You can very highly customize the way you search for something or the way you offer something, and therefore you can basically set a search offer. And if you have a local network in the country that you live in that you can use in that way, I would actually do it. Obviously, with classical eBay, as I said, it doesn't work, but generally this might be a good idea to increase your chances a little bit and get the word out there. If you are in the unlucky situation that a watch got stolen from you, I hope you have a chance of ever getting your watch back. Well, a lot of it obviously is wishful thinking, but miracles happen from time to time. Why not increase your chances? It's never good to give up on something, especially if it's a prized personal item. Finally, I have some things that you can do to increase your chances beforehand and make sure that you have all the information if you need it. And the first thing is to register the watch with the manufacturer, if that's possible, or with a platform who keeps an independent data bank. So if your watch is certainly expensive and special, it might make sense to register it. This is just an example. As I said, I have no affiliation with them and I'm not promoting them. If it is a expensive watch, if it is a watch that is in high demand, I would definitely have it insured, especially if you're going overseas or on holiday. It doesn't usually cost that much money, and it not only makes the watch insured, but it also takes the burden out of your mind to constantly think about what might happen if the watch gets stolen. Very important, write down the serial number of your watch. Most watches have very personalized serial numbers. Rolex, Omega, watches like that, even vintage watches have specific serial numbers. In some cases, separate movement numbers and case numbers. I would make sure to write down every single individual number on a movement or a watch I can find so that I have that information. If the watch is gone, you will not be able to find out that number other than having obviously box and papers and the number being on there. And this also is point number 4, keep photos of box and papers and obviously the watch as detailed as possible and showing the watch in its entirety with dings, scratches, patina, at best serial number obviously, so that you can prove that that the serial number was yours, and whatever might be important about the watch, keep them in a place that is accessible to you in case of losing the watch or getting the watch stolen, so that you can not only claim the watch to be yours, but also to have all the information to file a police report and do all the other things to increase your chances. These were my thoughts on that topic. I hope it gave you some inspiration, and I hope you could take something from it. If you are in the unlucky situation that your watch got stolen or lost, I wish you from the bottom of my heart that you get it back in some way. But yeah, chances in that case are very, very slim to none, but there are some things that you can do about it, and these hopefully are an inspiration to that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on new videos in the future. And you can also follow me on Instagram for more content. You find the link for Instagram in the video description. If you have any watchmaking related questions, or if you have any ideas for future videos, feel free to comment them in the comment section down below. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next video again.